Can you hear that? Can you hear it? That's the sound of hydrogen. Yes, suiso no oto, or the sound of hydrogen, is today's Japanese slang term. The origins of this phrase are in an infomercial that was made by the company Choju sometime around December of 2015. Now, Choju is like a alternative, naturalist, sustainable health product company. From their current Instagram, it looks like they're moving into creams and soaps and whatnot, but they've also released a bunch of other random products, one of which was advertised in an infomercial as something that is supposed to hydrogenate your water. Now, I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently it is. You buy hydrogenated water in Japan, I guess, at like convenience stores. But anyway, this is one of their products, and they tried to sell it on TV. I don't know exactly when. The YouTube upload that turned this into a slang phrase, meme phrase, whatever, was on December 2nd of 2015. And there is one comment that predates that on November 18th of 2015. And the comment not only uses this phrase, which isn't enough data in and of itself, because I can find people saying the sound of hydrogen for some reason, going back to at least 2011, and I don't think it has anything to do with this. But they're even doing it with the small katakana O after, which is the stereotypical internet representation of this entire phrase. If you see suiso no oto somewhere, it could just be that someone has heard hydrogen, but if there's a small katakana O, it's definitely a reference to the video. And there are comments on the YouTube video, like this one here, from a person saying that the one thing they're proud of in their life is that they saw this on TV when it was first aired, showing that it had to be before December. But let's just say late 2015. Anyway, this ad is a pretty stereotypical infomercial. It's a bit corny. The product is of dubious potential quality. But what made it stand out is at one point, the male presenter says, "Oh, I bet you want to open the bottle with the thing in it, making the hydrogen." And then he opens it. Immediately, the woman next to him says, "Ah, the sound of hydrogen," in a very, very interesting way, which you can see done here. Now look, I don't think I have to really explain why this was amusing. Like I said, it's a little corny. The reaction is over the top. As one comment I think hilariously notes, it's kind of a jerk move to say, "I bet you want to open it," and then opening it yourself. But also this concept of, as this person frames it, a woman who can determine a chemical's element just by sound alone. Or this even longer comment, which is kind of the same joke, all show Japanese netizens really enjoying this video and finding it funny. That said, as Google Trends shows you here, while there was some interest in this phrase since 2015 when the video was uploaded, the real spike was in 2018. Until then, interest in it was mostly restricted to what one website calls the QVC Kaiwai, or QVC enjoyers, people who enjoy infomercials. But slowly and steadily, interest in this phrase went up and up and up. I did my best to search, and I can't find a flashpoint, but just searching year by year, I saw a steady increase in people referencing the sound of hydrogen. For instance, it had to be popular enough by this time to have ASCII art of it, and I doubt that this person who randomly stumbled across the hydrogen station would be saying that if they hadn't seen the video. But the big increase in interest happens around February of 2018. The person you're looking at now, you found the old ad for the product, with a significant boom happening in March, and indeed, March of 2018 is when you start to see references to this get tens of thousands of likes instead of just a few. The image you're looking at here is a joke that I've seen stolen many, many times in looking up data, as the exploding Hindenburg, I guess, is the sound of hydrogen. And this dubstep remix, which has 8,000 likes on it, should give you a hint of why things were starting to get popular, and it's because the Japanese MAD community, the video edit community, got a hold of this. It went from the QVC Kaiwai to the MAD Kaiwai, basically. In particular, one really popular edit was produced in July of 2018, and this is a whole chorus that sings like lines from that video as the lyrics to the song. And this got so much attention that like an actual chorus group at a Japanese school did it. But there are also other kind of meme edits, such as ones that involve Zelda. Or Mario. And honestly, if you just go into YouTube and type suiso no oto, you'll find tons of these, and I'm sure there's one that fits your particular interest. This didn't just become like a video meme or a reference though. The most important linguistic trend it spawned is an active play where people replace suiso with anything else, anything they want. Sometimes these are just straightforward parodies, like the sound of voting in an election, but more generally, Something oto, or oto I guess, with small katakana, is just used to announce like something you're doing. This person, for instance, calls their dinner the sound of nobility, just to, I guess, show how much they think it's a fancy, enjoyable dinner. This person likes cars, so they say the sound of, what type of race car. And honestly, there's just so many of these out there. They're very casual, they don't get thousands of likes or anything, but if you are doing something, well then you can say the sound of thing and post an image of it, and that's just a fun way of doing that. The most amusing, personally, in my opinion, is when people use this to post songs they like, where it's like the sound of the song, and it's like, yeah, that is the sound of the song, correct, well done. But in all these, of course, it's very positive. It's a good sound, it's a sound you want to hear. Now, before you're like, oh man, a 2018 phrase, are you teaching me something that's dead again? No, I'm not. This has had surprising longevity, not only just because it's kind of simple and fun and the video is still on YouTube, but also because it was revived heavily in 2024 when Nissin, the company that makes cup ramen, used it in a advertisement that they released officially online.
今日は日清食品が冬限定で発売している濃厚なミルクのシーフードヌードルを作ってきますよ。楽しみ。
Getting over 200,000 likes and bringing the original actors back. This is a very, very, we get the joke ad. Not only do the actors open up the cup ramen, it has a milk seafood flavor, and say, the sound of milk.
早速開けてみますよ。せーの。ミルクの音。
When the female presenter says that she loves the ramen or daisuki, the video cuts to what I believe is a Beatmania reference that feels incredibly random.
濃厚で私これ大好き。
But again, makes the ad one of those rare ones that's intended to communicate with youth culture and actually kind of lands.
僕もこれ本当に大好き。
The language play doesn't end there either though, because the original video for this is also of note for the very, very first few seconds. For whatever reason, the audio glitches at the beginning and the presenter stumbles over their words. So while they're supposed to be saying saikin desu ne, or recently, yeah, it comes out as, well, at least the internet has decided as, saikin deki yasu.
最近できやす。最近できやす。最近できやす。
And this is well known enough that even the guy who said the phrase has noted it on Twitter and discussed it, saying, I really don't know how I messed that up. But I agree that I said deki yasu. This has resulted in two things. One is just a repeat of references to hydrogen. So if people see, for instance, hydrogen somewhere, instead of saying suiso no oto, they can just say saikin deki yasu. But another is that people just post something they are doing recently with this phrase. It's all very out of context and sometimes hard to follow. Like this person, I guess, is working on this image. I'm not sure. But this person is just recently eating this stuff and drinking this stuff, and they're using this to state that to the world. Interestingly though, it seems like this line flub really wasn't of interest to anyone until this video popped off again, because there are no real uses I can find of this at all until 2018. So until the video was kind of discovered by the wider internet instead of the QPC Kaiwai. I really like that word. So the explosion of this not only led to suiso no oto continuing long after it might have died off, but it also resulted in a second phrase arising from the same short video. And, oh, do you hear that noise? That's the sound of me being done with this video. So I'll see you next time.